Hey, what is happening, guys? Rules for Rebels here. I hope you guys are doing well. As you can see on the screen, the title of today's video is Quit Thinking, Start Doing. And kind of what inspired this video is lately I've been getting a lot of messages from people like, oh, how do I set up an LLC? Which bank should I choose for my business bank account? Which order management, inventory, or program should I get signed up for? And things like this. And while these are all very good questions, a lot of the time when I get these questions, somebody doesn't even have a product picked out yet. They don't even have an idea of how they plan on making money. They don't know what they're going to sell. They don't even know if they're going to go into e-commerce or go into drop shipping or go into retail arbitrage. And a lot of times we're going back and forth, and I'm like, hey, what are you going to do? Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but how should I form my LLC? Like, until you have an idea, you shouldn't even be worrying about setting up an LLC. You shouldn't even be worrying about where you should get your business bank account set up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you go to your local credit union or Chase. I mean, sure, some places have better fees than others, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, none of that matters. What matters is getting started. And the reason I'm against all this planning and stuff is because I find that people get so hung up on all these little things like, oh, I need to learn more. Oh, I need to figure out where I'm getting my bank account set up. Oh, I need to figure out what kind of structure I'm going to use for my business. And what you really should be thinking about is how can I start making money today or tomorrow? So I don't mean to like poo-poo planning because planning is smart. I'm a big fan of working smarter rather than harder. But like if you're completely new to making money online and things like that, I talked to a guy the other day who was planning on doing retail arbitrage, and he's already got like inventory management systems set up. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to be going to Walmart, buying a couple things off the clearance shelf and selling them on Amazon, just go ahead and do it. Go to Walmart today, buy this stuff, list it on Amazon. I mean, the guy's probably going to sell 10 or 12 items at a time. Like, you do not need to pay money for an inventory management system. You don't need to be wasting your time and effort setting up an inventory management system. I mean, get out a piece of paper and write down what you bought, your price point, what you plan on selling it for, figure out the margin, how much you're going to make after fees and shipping. Like, that's your inventory planning. Like, you don't need some big complicated system when you're just getting started and things are pretty simple. The other thing I would say is probably out of like every 10 ideas I have, maybe two or three of them I actually follow through on beyond just like the introductory stages. And if I'm going out setting up LLCs for everything I start, I'm throwing away hundreds of dollars on things that are never going to really continue because I discover early on it's just not promising. I'm also wasting time and effort on doing those things. So, like I said, lately I've been getting a lot of messages on this type of stuff, and this little stuff really doesn't matter. Two books I would encourage you guys to read. One is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and the other one is The $100 Startup. I forget who the author of that one is. But basically, two things both these books stress is being quick to action. So they stress quit thinking and start doing. Most businesses, I mean, if you're creating the next Facebook, sure, you should sit down and plan things. But I mean, most of you guys who are just going to be doing, and I don't mean to say just going to be doing as if that business is any less than starting a Facebook, but what I mean is, if you're not creating some new ground-breaking product that you need like CAD designers for or coders for, like if you're going to be doing e-commerce, if you're going to be doing affiliate marketing, if you're going to be doing freelancing, like you should be able to get your business set up within a matter of hours, with if not within a matter of days. Um, get started with little investment and little thought. So a lot of businesses like the $100 startup said, you can start it out for $100 and see if it works. One of the examples in the $100 startup was this these two friends, a guy and a girl, and they used to like maps, but not just like the road atlas. They liked like maps that were also kind of art. So maybe a map of I don't know, I'm having a hard time thinking of an example, but a map that's like more art than function. And they started making these maps just for fun. They draw them out themselves of like I think it was locations they liked or something like that. And they actually wound up getting like six of them printed. Now they each wanted one to hang on their wall. So they had to order a minimum six from whoever the printer was. So they ordered their six. They each had one to hang on their wall, and they had four extras. So I think they gave them to a couple friends, and they were like, "These things are really awesome. You guys should get these made." So they contacted the printer. We're like, "Hey, how much would it cost to get 50 or 100 of these made?" They had those made. Figured, what the heck? We'll throw them up on Amazon and see what happens. They wound up being hugely popular. They were shared on social media because of the nature of the product. It was something that was shared very well on like Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook and sites like that. And all of a sudden orders started rolling in and it wound up turning into a full-fledged business. So I'm a huge fan of, unless you have like some genius idea that you think is going to be like the next big thing and you actually have the knowledge and the resources to put it forward, I'm a big fan of just like coming up with ideas, putting them into action quickly and seeing what happens. So um, let's see, get started with little investment and little thought. Figure out the little things as you go. You know, like the guy who I was talking about who is going to be doing retail arbitrage and already has an inventory management system. Like, just go to Walmart, buy something, put it up on Amazon, and see if it sells. Use an Excel spreadsheet, use a piece of notebook paper to track your inventory. And if things sell and next time you go to Walmart you wind up buying 20 things, great, you're making more money. If those things all sell and you make money and next time you go to Walmart and buy 50 things off the shelf, maybe at this point you start using an inventory management system. Maybe you do the retail arbitrage and then you decide, okay, I'm going to expand into some wholesale products to where I can sell a consistent product. At that point, once you've grown your business, you've made some money, you've proven you can sell, then start worrying about that stuff. But don't worry about it right off the start. Um, we all know things don't always go as planned. So a lot of times, if you sit down and write some 30-page business plan, probably day one that business plan is going to go to shit. And not to say that all that planning is wasted, but you're probably going to wind up taking an entirely new direction. It's just the way things wind up working out. So all that time you spent to get, putting together this 30-page business plan, everything's changing on the fly. So why not just come up with like a rough idea and tackle problems as they come? Business plans are a thing of the past. Like one page of bullet points is fine. Like think about the where, what, when, who, how, or whatever that was they used to tell us in English class when you were writing or trying to do a book report or whatever. Like who is your market? Who is your niche? What will you sell to them? How will you market it to them? Where will you get it from? What do you anticipate your margins being like? And how will you differentiate yourself from the competition? I mean, literally a bullet point form, one-page form answering those questions is better than a 50-page business plan. Like I said, how you'll make money, how you'll do it better than others, how you'll bring customers in. That's really what you should be thinking about. I have an analogy. I don't know if you guys will follow this analogy or not. My girlfriend jokes that I'm the worst person at coming up with analogies. But here's the analogy. So we have two guys. They're out in the desert at like this junkyard, and they were issued a challenge. The challenge is a 100-mile race. There are no rules. The race can be done on foot. You can try to find a shortcut. If you find like a river, you can try to build a boat and go down it. You can build a vehicle out of these junkyard parts to take you there. But the point is that there's no rules with the exception of like you can't hop in some guy's car and finish a race. So guy one sits down and plans how he's going to do it quickly. He's the Tim Ferriss or the $100 startup guy. He sits down. He's like, okay, how am I going to pace myself? I'm going to go at a jog for 5 miles, then I'm going to sprint a mile. I'm going to go for a jog for 5 miles. I'm going to sprint a mile. He plans out where his rests are going to be, etc. And he gets started. Guy two decides there's a better way to do this. He sits down for a couple hours exploring his options. What could I do? There might be a river a mile down. I could maybe try to go down there and build a boat. I am in this junkyard. I could use these parts to build some kind of vehicle. He looks at a map for potential shortcuts. He thinks about running. He thinks about building a vehicle, etc. Now, like I said, there's a junkyard of parts at the starting line. So he comes up with his overall design, which takes him a couple hours. He tries to gather materials which will allow him to create this, vehicle that he plans to build. He assembles the vehicle and he finally gets started on this like magical self-propelled vehicle that he built out of junkyard parts, and it's going to allow him to finish the race in a quarter of the time as somebody on foot. The problem, however, is that creating this vehicle wound up taking 6 times as long as just running the race in the first place. So before he has even gotten started, the guy who took off on foot and ran the race has already finished it. So I know this is kind of a goofy analogy. Like I said, my girlfriend always jokes with me that I'm terrible at my analogies and they don't make any sense. You guys can tell me if that's stupid or not. But now this is a fine line. Like I'm not saying go into everything half-assed and not planning. There is something to be said for working smarter as opposed to harder. I mean, just another example. Let's say I get started with affiliate marketing and I'm like, look, I'm just going to run around on the internet like dropping backlinks everywhere doing this manually. Now, if I were to spend a little bit more time planning, there are a lot of tools at my disposal that'll allow me to like make 100 backlinks on the internet with one click as opposed to me manually going around and doing that. So I mean, I'm not saying it's, don't find ways to work better, don't find ways to work smarter, don't find ways to leverage your efforts to be more efficient. So there is a thin line. I'm not saying never plan anything out, but what I am saying is I do find way too many people spend so much time planning and thinking about every little potential problem, some of which you may experience, some of which you may not. Most problems are really nothing more than opportunities in disguise. Most problems can be fixed on the fly. So, like, rather than sitting down thinking about 100 potential problems or 100 potential things that could go wrong and how to solve them all, why not just sit down, make a quick overall plan, get started doing something? Out of these 100 potential problems that you thought you might encounter, maybe you encounter 20 of them. So you're already saving 80% of your time, because not even all those problems are going to come to you. And those 20, those 20 problems that you do encounter, you should be able to fix quickly on the fly, and you're going to be a lot further ahead than if you sat around planning for forever. Let's see. One last thing, and this is a little bit off topic, but Grant Cardone, I'm a big fan of him. If you haven't checked him out, check him out on YouTube. He has a phrase, quantity before quality. So what he basically says is, quit worrying about being a perfectionist. Just get started. Like, I hate to say put something out half-ass or put something out of crap quality, but if you're starting out, you're going to be bad at something. The first time you tried to ride a bike, you sucked at it. But did you say, like, oh, I'm going to have to sit down and study the next 2 years on how to ride a bike before I get back on? Like, you keep getting back on and falling down until eventually you're able to ride, and then you get better at it. So my point is, I think too many people sit on the sidelines waiting for themselves to be, quote unquote, up to par or good enough to get started. And when you do that, you're never going to get started. And also, it is those failures and it is sucking that's going to make you better and teach you the most. So hopefully you guys got something out of this video. I know I've been kind of bombarding you guys with the what's going on with Amazon review videos lately, so I thought I'd give it a rest from those and just kind of make this quick video today. There is some new developments and things like that about the Amazon review situation that I wanted to share with you. Maybe I'll drop those videos in the coming days here. One other thing, guys, I apologize. I know I did the how to make money off your passions and things like that video, and somebody commented, I actually kind of felt bad. Somebody commented and was like, you're not very responsive to your comments. And I had purposely, for those of you guys who are active on my channel, like, I literally respond to every single comment that you guys leave me. If your comment is a response to my comment, I'm not always notified about that, so some of those may slip through the cracks, but I do try to regularly go down the line and see if there's anything I've missed. And I've purposely been avoiding leaving comments in text on that video because I was planning on answering all the questions in a video format. So I have had one video done for about 2 weeks here. I apologize for not posting it. I'll post it soon, and I'll wrap up answers to the rest of your guys' comments. Thanks for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, all that YouTube stuff, subscribe, share, etc. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and look forward to catching you guys on the next video.